This bike feels like it's pretty different in design and age to a lot of the other bikes we've seen.
I'm not just a one-trick pony. This bike came in, and if I told you it was one of the cleanest original bikes I'd ever seen, I couldn't believe you wanted me to restore it.
Huh.
But it had its issues running. It was tired. Owner lives in Hawaii. The bike is from Hawaii. He's had it a long time, and originally was shipped to me with the instruction to restore it as new. I was looking at this as a greatest hits of BMW Airhead, cherry picking from all eras, so that a bystander looks at it and goes, oh, there's a beautiful old Beamer, right? I offered up the police gas tank, which I'd bought for myself. I was too cool to pass up on.
What was the gas tank designed before?
It was the same gas tank, but finished in silver and without the toolbox on top.
Oh.
So the toolbox is a police thing.
So that's like a flap that opens up?
Yeah, it opens up and you can put sandwiches in there.
Or donuts?
The sandwich.
It's a police bike, right?
Police
donuts.
bike, yeah. Yeah, but they're like Portuguese. So this came from Portugal.
Okay.
What do they eat in Portugal? Nando's. Yeah, the gas tank, refinished it in Avis black, hand-painted pinstripes, and like fundamentally very classic BMW motorcycle, black and chrome. Vapor blasted all the drivetrain. Speaking of the drivetrain, so still did all the magic to it. So badged as a 75, but it's 1000cc twin spark. Painted the cylinders, little nod to the R90S. Cylinders being here. And then we're running the fake light spark plug caps that you've seen on other builds. They're from the 50s. The Bing carburetors are from a 90s R100.
So how was the oldest part on this bike and how old is the newest part?
The newest part is the Motor Gadget Speedo.
Oh, super modern.
21st century tech. Electronic, but an analog sweep. And then the oldest part, the stuff from 1975, the original stuff, the engine, the gearbox, the airbox, the wheels. We used a R100 RS fork with the dual discs.
So then working our way further back.
Yeah. New reproduction seat. The original, the pan had rusted out a little bit, and it was just, why try and restore a seat when you can buy new reproduction one? New exhaust system, stainless headers with a Hosk muffler, throatier than the original and period correct.
So wait a second, when you say period correct, you just mean like the design of it?
Yeah, these pipes were available in period to put on your BMW.
Would have been an option from the factory?
No, aftermarket,
Okay.
but period. Very heavily polished aluminum. This wasn't original. And then we've gone for the aluminum turn signals from the early 70s as well, just because bling factor. They were black plastic on his bike.
Oh, wow.
Then the Marshalls really loved this setup. The bike came with a very similar crash bar. His crash bar failed on the steering damper that he wanted to keep. So I used the crash bar that I had another one that didn't foul on it. I don't know why it didn't, but it just fit better. Then I notched it underneath to make sure that it couldn't, just overkill. Because I knew that we were going to re-chrome it anyway once I made the mounts to put these lights on.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, the crash bar is like the real, the cherry on top of this build.
Does the owner know how much went into the crash bar? Does the owner appreciate that sort of safety element?
Put it this way, when we had the conversation discussing the bike in front of me, I was like, hey, what color do you want the crash bars? Shall we do them black, like the frame? And he was like, no, I'd like them chrome. I just died inside. And he knew. He's like, no, if chrome's too much trouble, then we'll do them black. But I think it was the right call. It was a good decision to make them chrome.
When you're building this and something like that comes up where it's like way more work and time, do you keep the client appraised of that? Or is it a case of like, they don't need to know how much energy that's taken more than we imagined?
It's just part of restoring a vehicle. I mean, if you want it, you can have it. Like, I'll do it, I'll figure it out. And we figured it out. The handlebars are original to the bike. Client requested that they stay because they're very comfortable and he didn't want to change the riding position.
Are the grips the original, or did you put the grips on?
They're new. They're new. It came in with the horrible square ones from the later bike. This is the early Magura style. New rubber knee pads on the tank, our custom roundel, new switchgear from the /5. I used original /5 levers and had them polished and put them on the new switchgear.
These are new?
What's new? What are you pointing to? Oh, intake manifolds are new. All of that's new, basically.
So from here to here?
Intake manifolds are new, rubber boots are new. These are vapor blasted and rebuilt from the 90s. New throttle cables. I had to I rebuilt the choked cables because no one sells a reproduction cable that works. I found that out the hard way by buying them from 3 different people. It was another neat touch. So customer specified the auxiliary lights have to be switchable. So you can turn them off. One is a high beam, a low beam with the headlight, and then the auxiliary lights are operable on their own circuit, and there's a switch on the left one, external.
Ah. Oh, fabulous.
We retained the steering damper. We did a later triple to house the custom speedo. And these Albert style mirrors. These are from the 60s. This would have been on a /2.
And they were not on the bike when she came in?
No. You didn't have any mirrors on the bike when it came in.
So they are actually original mirrors, or they repro?
They're reproduction Albert style mirrors, and they would belong on a /2. These fork gears have been modified to fit the custom triple. So when they were cut, they were also drilled, really not rocket science, and then refinished. Which is really like the nature of custom work, right? It's not that different to the guy doing it at home, but then you then professionally refinish what you've just cut up and drilled, and all of a sudden it looks proper.
Anything on the horn, or is that the original?
No, it's a /5 horn, so just more chrome. That's the theme, right?
Yeah. Bike is a quick bike, or is it just a cruiser? Sunday morning, don't need to be anywhere.
Rebuilt 1000cc Euro high compression pistons.
Yeah.
Twin spark. Certainly faster than your average, still has R75 gearing. So you can really adjust performance on a bike with the ratio on the rear end. Same with a car.
But in layman's terms, what does that actually mean?
This bike probably makes around 50 to 60 horsepower, and when it came in, it was probably making 30.
Oh, whoa.
So, seat of the pants, you have a new machine, rebuilt as new. I'll give you a speed walkthrough. The front wheel, the tire is removed. The spokes are cut out. The rim goes to the polisher. The hub is vapor blasted. Then the hub gets a sealed wheel bearing conversion. The original had a taper bearing that you have to set the preload on the axle. No one ever does it properly. Just too much room for error. And we have modern sealed bearings now that don't need preload. So you don't need to set the preload. We do that. They've got new chrome caps. You've got new brake rotors. That's torqued and marked with torque seal. The brake calipers were stripped and clear anodized. Then a new seal kit on new pistons with new brake pads, new brake pad retainers, a new axle. All the bearings are new. You get my gist, right?
There is no speed walkthrough.
There is no speed walkthrough.
There just isn't, because there's too much you've done.
But there's no stone left unturned. Everything that can be rebuilt is rebuilt.
It's got a new battery as well.
It has a new battery, Simon. Yes.
Anything exciting about this particular unit versus what was in there before?
I proposed the lithium battery.
That's
and
the lightweight one?
And like £2 battery versus £20 battery.
Yeah.
And deleting the battery covers so that you had that negative space that I'm a fan of. Yeah. And my guy was like, no, that doesn't look original. I would like the bike to be somewhat of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Hey, another nice neat touch. So we twin plugged motor as an homage to the 60s bikes that had the coil in the front cover. We do this on a lot of bikes. But the spark plug cables for the second coil come out of the timing cover. And I handmade the spark plugs. So that's why they've got this braided with black with the white striker to the bakelite plugs. And then another fun fact is that the timing cover is from a 1979 and it doesn't have a tack drive.
Wait a second. So you have to add that to be able to operate?
Because this is an electronic speedo,
Yeah.
there is no tack cable. So if you had the original timing cover, there would be this gaping great hole for a tack cable that you're not going to use. In 1979, BMW went to an electronic tack with the early case.
Oh.
It's the only year. So it's completely smooth all the way around with no cutout for the cable. So
Okay.
we switched on the later box. Who cares? No one cares about that.
Some people do.
There's
No,
no
there's-
hole. There's no hole in the engine. It's
Yeah.
good.
Well, same size wheels?
Yeah, factory wheels, 19 on the front and then 18 on the rear. We went with Avon tyres for this because British spectacularness.
Oh, I still see the sticker. Yeah, brand new.
Always new tyres, but yeah. Polished stainless spokes.
Yeah.
The original would have been chrome. These are more durable. Olin suspension on the back,
ARP hardware.
particularly on the riser. It's made to use it.
Very pretty.
The lower triple was black Cerakoted, and the fork leg lowers were black Cerakoted too.
What were they before?
From the factory, this bike would have had cast aluminum fork lowers. They'd be bare. The 77 RS fork lowers that we used were painted black from the factory, so we refinished them in black.
Is this another one that will go champagne colour?
Oh yeah.
When it's running just perfect. So does the champagne colour then change colour if it goes from perfect to rich?
When you're rich,
Yeah.
that's when you don't change colour. It stays silver.
As is.
Yeah, because it's running cold. Okay.
Yeah.
You run lean when your engine is running hot, and then your exhaust pipes start turning blue. So if you were running good and it's champagne, and then it starts running lean, and they will go blue, and then you fix the leanness and go back to normal, they don't go back to champagne, they just stay blue.
Oh, so kind of you broke it, you pay for it kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it's a keeper at this
Yeah,
point.
you can run an engine lean once,
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
and if you run it too lean for too long,
It's like,
engine just goes bye-bye anyway.
oh yeah, right. I feel I want to see what's in the toolbox.
I can show you.
Yeah.
Here are the keys. Key is like a square cut universal
Oh, yeah.
Allen. Not an Allen, but it's square. There you have it.
It's actually larger than.
What's that? 3 inches? 2 inches?
All right.
Enough for a sandwich.
It's usable for
Yeah.
sure. Put a couple of spanners in there.
Maybe even a donut. That would fit a donut.
Oh, 100%. I'll squeeze 2 in there.
2 Nando's, chicken breasts.
3 donuts. If you're a police officer and you've got like emergency stuff in there, it's like,
Freeze!
yeah, I'm just going to be back in a minute. Give me a second.
Portugal has a specific dessert,
Why are we talking Portugal?
because that's where the gas tank came from.
Oh, okay. And everything we see that you've done, is that part of the first draft plan, for want of a better term, or do you think,
No,
as we're
so
going?
it came with that instruction, but my client sent with the bike a folio of pictures and annotated notes. If you can, this is what I would like.
Oh, that's great.
And I mean, this is all of it. It hit everything.
Any more to be done before she's ready to ship?
This bike runs. I have not ridden it yet because I have not bled the brakes, because I'm plating the missing brake line holder.
Yeah.
And in order to install the brake line holder, you have to break the brake line. So on Monday, we'll bleed the brakes, break in the engine, and get riding
How's this bike going to get back to Hawaii?
on a boat.